Hello, everybody. I'm Megan Graham, and I just wanted to come on today to talk about the 5 mistakes that I commonly see clients making and why everybody's trying to get their hair long and it's just not growing longer. And spoiler alert, it's not just about the product matters, but it's so many other things. So these are the same things that I go over with clients in the salon. And I just wanted to bring it to YouTube because I know that for years and years, I was having trouble getting my own natural hair to grow. So I was wearing tons of extensions, and my hair, I would go to get it colored, and they would say, "It's so weird. It's like your hair barely even grows." And that was really frustrating to me, especially because I knew that when I was little, my hair just grew like a weed, and I couldn't understand why it wasn't growing. So I made some notes because if you've watched any of my videos, I tend to digress. Number one, you're not trimming your hair. And okay, I got an email the other day from a new client, and she mentioned that she had barely trimmed her hair since 2020. And she said, but it's not really growing. No matter what, your hair is growing somewhat. And here is the issue. First of all, you have to find somebody that you really, really trust to trim your hair, because as a hairstylist, I know that there are plenty of people out there that you will walk in and you'll say, I just want this much off my hair. And you walk out and they have taken this much off your hair, which is devastating. And we don't want that. So you need to be very, very clear. Alfie, come here, Alfie. You need to be very, very clear that you do not want somebody taking a lot of hair off. So that first appointment, when you sit down with someone and you talk about what you want, I want you guys to be really, really clear. I do not want a lot taken off of my hair. I will not come back to you if you take a lot off of my hair. I know this might sound really harsh, but as somebody that has worked in the beauty industry for over 24 years, I'm going to tell you there are a lot of hairstylists out there that love to just make you look different, and making you look different means doing what they want to do. We can't have that. So you need to be in full agreement with the person that is trimming your hair. This is going to be a small trim. It's just for health. And you know that you're going to come back in 3 months or what have you. If you're going a year and you're not trimming or cutting your hair, which is really the same things, guys, your hair, you're not going to see the growth because your hair is going to be breaking right off. And this is something that I see with clients again and again. And there is no fixing this. So there's no magic wand. If your hair is breaking off at the ends and you're not trimming it, it just gets worse and worse. I know it's hard. I know it's scary. I have had those. I mean, my hair it's 22 inches long, and I have had those haircuts where I went to someone in New York and they were new and they didn't listen to me, and it was devastating how much hair they cut off. I have a very, very trusted person now. We talk about exactly how much length is coming off. Like, I'll be going in to see her soon. I will probably get about this much off of the bottom, so I'm getting a little bit more. Sometimes I get this much off, but we talk about it. We're in full agreement, and I promise you, I will never go back to a hairstylist that cuts too much hair off my hair. So that is free tip for you. You've got to be firm on that consult. Never, ever say to a hairstylist, just do what you feel like doing. It is the kiss of death. Do not say that, okay? I did hair for 24 years, and I had people flying in from all over the world. And if someone said, do whatever you feel like doing, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to sit them down and ask them questions. What do you dislike? What do you like? Let's find something that feels like you, not just something that I want, something that we both think is beautiful for you. So most important, regular trims. Okay. Number 2 is that you're starting something. You're starting with a protocol, you're starting with a system for your hair, and you think that you're going to see results really, really fast. So you're giving up before you see results. Feel free to hop into the comments too. I would love to hear from anybody in the comments. Guys, just so you know, in my salon, consults have always been $200 for 30 minutes. So I'm giving you the very same stuff that I talk about in the salon. This is free. It's just, I hope it helps you to get prettier hair. You know, it's it might seem really basic, but I guarantee you, you're not doing all these things. And if you are doing all these things, you're going to have really, really pretty long, healthy hair, but you are going to have to let it happen. So you're giving up before anything has time to work. Your hair is growing about a half an inch a month. And if you're making changes, with your scalp care and you're making changes with your products, realistically, you might see some very, very small changes perhaps in 3 months, almost imperceptible, maybe a little bit more volume, maybe a little bit more thickness or regrowth at the root. 6 months, you are going to start to see a little bit of something, right? When I moved out west from Boston, I left my beloved hair colorist that had been doing my hair for, I think, over 22 years. And I had to find a new person. And the person that I went to was quite well known in Arizona, and my hair got completely messed up. It's still actually growing out from it. So like, this cut isn't my desired cut, but if you could see how much better it is now than it was a year and a half ago, it is completely different. It just takes a really long time to grow your hair out. So my dream hair is probably still a year and a half out. We're working on that, right? This is long-term gratification. So sticking with your hair routine, there is nothing that is going to make a huge difference for your hair in 1 week or 1 month other than just getting a full set of extensions. And I have nothing against extensions. I have done Hair Dreams extensions for years. But that said, what I see with a lot of women, if they're not on a really good care routine, is their hair is getting worse and worse and worse. They take their extensions out and they wind up having hair. I know we've all seen the pictures of the before and afters where their hair stops right here. And it's like little feathery, burnt Barbie doll hair, pieces of hair. We don't want that. We want hair that's already thick and healthy. And if you're putting in extensions, you already have pretty good hair yourself. You're just adding a little bit of oomph to it instead of all of your hair is extensions. I'm not trying to be negative about extensions, but we're talking about, do you want really pretty hair that is your hair, or do you want to buy a whole set of hair that you have to feel pretty about your hair? Because for me, I know that I can have beautiful hair growing out of my head, so I'm willing to take the time. And so for me, the changes that I saw when I really sat down and I committed to doing a thickening, strengthening, and volumizing protocol, it was a year until I saw major changes. So if you are thinking, I'm just going to get something and my hair is going to look totally different in 3 months, that's an unrealistic expectation. So just know that, like all good things in life, good things take time. So it's going to take you a while of really taking care of your hair, and treating it a little bit more delicately. Does anybody have any questions? If you do, please feel free to jump in the comments. I know that most of my viewers come in after my live streams because I tend to do them sort of midday, and I know today is a Friday. Anyway, number 3 is that you're ignoring your scalp. And this is the way to look at it. So your scalp is the garden. Your scalp is where your hair is growing from. And if you look at most of the products that are actually being sold, they're just targeting your ends. They're just targeting the dead. Excuse me for one moment. Sasha. I have one cat that is bullying another cat. I apologize for that. It is not possible for me to do any kind of YouTube live stream without yelling at an animal, because they wait and then they cause problems when I'm doing a live stream. Bless their little hearts. So our scalp needs care. Most of the products that you see on the market are not caring for your scalp. And I can tell you from experience of seeing thousands and thousands of clients over the past 24 years. Okay, we have to do a little intervention, don't we? Sasha, that's enough. Somebody was being a bully to my girl cat, and we can't have that happen. Sorry about that, guys. So I can tell you from 24 years of doing hair and seeing women's scalps over and over again, most people are not taking care of their scalps. And you might think this is not important, but when you get to be my age, so I am just about to turn 50, and when you get to be my age, you're going to see that a lot of women are having a lot of issues with thinning hair. It's a huge problem in the salon where women say, my hair is not as thick as it used to be. I used to have so much hair and now it's so thin. If you are taking care of your scalp, this is going to make a big difference in supporting your hair growth. So if you're not taking care of your scalp, your hair, how is it going to grow? It's like you expect a beautiful rose to grow out of a garden, but you're not watering the garden and you're not fertilizing the garden. So your scalp care is very, very important. Scalp massage, a healthy lymphatic system. There's a lot of things that go into hair growth. Now, number 4 is something that I think is a little bit controversial for women. Everybody seems to think that not washing your hair very frequently is going to give you much healthier hair. And I definitely disagree with this. So in the salon, and I see this all the time, women come in and, bless their hearts, they have layered dry shampoo into their hair, not just one time, but many times 2 and 3 times. Your follicles your follicles and your skin and your scalp do not actually want to be smothered. So, truly, for me, I would say maximum I would ever go, and I do have oily hair. The maximum that I would ever go without washing my hair is 3 days. And I try to actually wash my hair every other day. That is the optimal time to keep my scalp healthy, exfoliated, and to give those follicles a healthy environment. So I know that everybody seems to think that washing your hair is going to mean that you're not going to have long hair. It's just not true. I very rarely use dry shampoo. I probably use dry shampoo about once every 6 weeks. I know I went through a little phase with it. It is, especially if you have oily hair, you're creating almost like a paste or a residue on your scalp, and it's just not the healthiest thing for your scalp. If you have ever read anything by Philip Kingsley, he is a world famous trichologist. And what is a trichologist? A trichologist is really an expert, an expert that deals with hair. And he always talked about the fact that your hair actually wants to be washed to be healthy. Your scalp needs to be cared for and to be clean to be healthy. A lot of people come into the salon and it's almost shocking how dirty their hair is when they come into the salon because they have layered so much dry shampoo onto their hair. And for me personally, I just have to be honest. One, I can't see the color of someone's hair very clearly if it's very dirty. So oftentimes they're going to need to have their hair shampooed and blow dried to be able to be colored properly. And 2, it's just not healthy for the hair. It's also not appealing to touch, I'll be totally honest. So actually washing your hair more is better. I think the important thing to think about is after you wash your hair, you need to, personally, I think drying your hair is much better than air drying your hair. Air drying your hair means that your scalp is going to stay moist, wet, whatever you want to call it, damp for a very long time, which actually isn't the healthiest thing for your hair. So it's not shampooing your hair that's the problem. It's how do you actually use heat on it afterwards? Do you use a heat protective product? That is essential. Are you gentle with your hair when it's wet and it's in its most fragile state? That's also really important. And lastly, when you're styling it, for instance, do I think flat ironed hair looks good? I sure do. But flat ironing your hair is putting so much heat on your hair. So if you can actually learn how to do a good blow dry, maybe to use Velcro rollers, or I don't know if you've ever used heatless styling tools, those are things that are going to preserve the integrity of your hair. So washing your hair is actually okay. And obviously, so you're damaging your hair, right? With heat, brushing, tight styles, things like that. So we do want to minimize all of those things using scrunchies, avoiding super, super tight hairstyles that might cause traction alopecia. If you don't know what that is, you can actually create hair loss by putting your hair back very, very tightly, in a very tight way. I actually just saw somebody that was trying to create a natural facelift with braids, and it was absolutely horrifying to me when I saw how tight they were pulling the braids back on their face. Definitely not something I would ever do. And of course, getting the right combination of products for your hair is super, super important. So a lot of people think, and this is something I've seen again and again, people get beautiful color and then they're like, oh, I'm just going to pick up whatever at Sephora. Honestly, getting something that is the right thing for your hair to nurture your scalp and grow out your hair is going to make a big difference. So I'm going to show you a few of the different things that I use on my hair. Most of these things work for most people. I do have to say that I love to personalize different plans for people. So if you do want your own plan or what I think would work really well for you, feel free to contact me. My email is in the description, but I'm just going to show you the very simple thing that I do on wash days. So once a week, I take this oil and I actually put it, first of all, I put it on my entire scalp. So I just take a little bit of a dropper full. I'm not actually going to completely oil my scalp right now just because my hair isn't going to be washed today, but I would actually put it right here on my entire scalp. And I take the time to do a 5-minute massage once a week. And why do I do that? Because I'm encouraging blood flow and health right on my scalp, right? Our scalp needs attention, and doing a quick massage is such an easy thing to do once a week for hair growth. After I've massaged my scalp, I put a little bit of this oil onto my ends. I work it through my ends, and I usually put my hair in a braid and I leave it in my hair for about anywhere 2 hours and up. So maybe I put it in my hair, I make breakfast, I go to the gym, and after that, I actually wash out the oil. So the reason that I'm doing this twofold. One, I am paying attention to my scalp, I'm getting the circulation going, and I'm basically feeding my scalp as well. And I'm also taking the opportunity to do a dry conditioning treatment, because when your hair is wet, the water is actually blocking moisture. So for the most part, I don't do a ton of masks and things like that. I do my conditioning before I wash my hair. So that is the first thing. I do it once a week. It's very, very easy to do. There's no fragrance, so there's nothing in there to bother me. And then the second thing that I do is I use my thickening shampoo and conditioner. Very, very easy, nothing fancy, smells like mint, works really well. If you have fine hair, you're just using a little bit and you're really focusing on ponytail and down with your conditioner. I don't skip conditioner for anyone. I just use different amounts depending on how thick their hair is and how easily it's weighed down. After you get out of the shower, you just take your thickening defense, and these are little drops that you actually, so I put these on right after I wash my hair. I don't use it daily. Same way that I put the oil in, I put 1 dropper full in my scalp. I make sure to massage it in, and I pay special attention to right here. A few years ago, I was getting early thinning, and I had a bald spot here and a bald spot here. And I do not have those bald spots anymore, but I pay extra attention always to the front of my hair, because the front of our hair seems to be where we are always seeing thinning first. So after I do that, I obviously have targeted styling products that I use for my hair specifically. What I would use for my hair, which is long and very wavy curly, and I actually smooth it out with my Dyson hair dryer, may not be exactly what you would use for your hair. So if you do want custom styling product recommendations, literally feel free to jump into my email anytime. I am not a person that is going to pressure you into anything, but I really do like to tell you these are the essential things that I think you would like. You're free to get 1 product, 2 products, no products. It really doesn't matter to me. There's no personal weight on that, but I do like for you to know what would specifically work for your hair. For instance, I use the blow dry cream. that may not be a product that I would recommend for someone with very fine hair. It really depends. Now, my hair in particular, because the color had turned my hair into super gummy, white, overprocessed hair, I needed to do something to really rebond my hair and get the health back. So initially, when I was getting the health back of my hair, I started with this bond building treatment. Initially, for the first 2 months, I did this once a week. As my hair became healthier, as it became stronger, and I noticed it wasn't snapping off, so you can kind of see the quality of some of my hair, I think. As my hair was no longer snapping off, I decreased the amount of times that I was doing this treatment. So it's going to be different for everybody. At this point, my hair is so much healthier. So I'm doing this treatment only once a month because I actually don't want to overdo it with bond building treatments. Those are the main products I use. And if you go onto, by the way, if you look in my description, you will see some links. I put a few shopping carts together just so you could easily see what I was talking about. You can edit things out, you can delete them, just peek at them. I personally don't use entire systems. So you'll see that, for instance, there is an entire bond building system which has a mask, a special shampoo, all of these different things. I like to use the bare minimum of products and keep the bare minimum of products that I personally need and change them seasonally instead of just getting entire systems with things that I probably don't need. Initially, I had purchased the shampoo and the mask that went with the bond building treatment, and I truly just don't think, for the most part, it's needed. It could vary depending on the person, but less is more as far as I'm concerned, because in my beauty cabinet, I still have my detangler. I still have my demineralizing treatment I do once a month so that my hair does not get brassy, and a few other treatments I do, like a gentle purifying rinse that I use on my hair that takes off buildup every week. So anyway, I don't like to get into just buying everything from every system because I don't think we need everything from every system. Does anybody have any questions or comments? I would love to hear from you guys. If you are having any struggles with your hair, please let me know. I just know that it's such an interesting thing because this is an issue that I hear about from so many women. And I will say that the product line that I use, when I first heard about it, I was like, no, I don't want to try that. I don't like that product line. I'm never going to try it. It's not my thing. And I am really, really sensitive to fragrance and chemicals because of spending over 24 years as a hair colorist. And I finally just decided, okay, I'm desperate. I can't figure out how to get my hair healthy again. I'm going to try this and just see how it goes. And so I gave it an entire year, and my hair bounced back more than I would ever have expected it to, especially at 49 years old, when I find that everybody else seems to be complaining about their hair getting thinner. And I'm happy to say that my hair is actually getting thicker and fuller. And also I have very, very little gray. I don't cover my gray at all. So if you can see it if you really look. I don't have a lot of gray though. And I actually have been, for the most part, just coloring my hair myself. I haven't been able to make it to where I wanted to go to get my hair colored because I would be traveling a little bit to get it done. So I've just been throwing a few highlights in here and there, but probably for my 50th birthday, I'm going to treat myself to a little trip to get my hair done. Those are the main things that I wanted to tell you guys. Please feel free to email me. I know everybody's always, I think, afraid to email because they think that I'm just going to jump down your throat and pressure you. I do actually get a lot of emails asking me for systems. If anything, I'm probably going to recommend that you only start with a few things and that you do not overbuy products. The way that I started with my products was I only started with a few things. So I think one of the early things that I did start with was the oil. And one of the next things that I started with was the serum. So for many people, what I would really encourage you to do is if you're looking for a new hair product and you're still going through a bottle of shampoo or what have you, use up your shampoo and your conditioner that you have. You don't have to switch everything. You don't have to buy everything from one line and have it all at once. If you've spent a lot of money on whatever you're using right now, I definitely encourage you to use it up because things are so expensive these days, and we already know it's not working, right? Or you wouldn't be looking for something else. It would be making the changes it's supposed to make. But use it up, and then when it's gone, use something else. So get your money's worth out of whatever you're using. But please feel free to write me, and I'd be more than happy to help you with a personalized routine. There are a few other things. Obviously, beauty is my business. This is what I've won 2 Best of Boston awards. I owned my own salon for 12 years before I moved away to out west with my husband, and I actually closed my salon and left it was a very hard thing to do because I had such a big clientele and a successful business. But my husband wanted to live out west and I wanted to live with my husband. So I left my business and I moved out west, and I did not start another hair salon because I just did not want to try to recreate everything that I had created after so many years. So I decided that it was time to stop doing that and start doing something a little bit different. So hope this was helpful for you. I know you guys don't have any questions, so I'm just going to hop off early because I just got back from the vet with my little dog Lola, and I'd like to give her a little attention and make her some homemade turkey. She's just getting better after a pancreatitis flare, and she's been going through some health stuff. So I'm going to go and cook Lola's food. But if you guys have any questions after, please feel free to email me. My email is in the description, and just let me know that you would like my help. And also, please feel free to look through the links. I know I didn't do links in the last video, and everybody was really upset about it. So I did some links. The other thing that I didn't link, but the demineralizing kit that I use once a month is also incredible. And it also does help you grow your hair out, because when you remove the minerals that are coating your hair, you are allowing your conditioner, your oil, and your bonding treatment to work so much better because your hair is not coated with minerals. So I hope that this is helpful for you. This is what I have always done, whether in the salon or out of the salon. I don't only Siamese. Siamese. My cat is, don't do that. No, he is on my vent. Please don't do that. Siamese, you're gonna break that thing off the wall. Come here. Okay, I have a large Siberian cat, and I have a suspended cooking vent that comes from the ceiling, and he was just on the vent with his entire body, and I'm always afraid that this little troublemaker that doesn't want me to do YouTube is literally going to pull you're a troublemaker when I'm on YouTube, aren't you? Pull my vent off. So sorry guys, it is really hard to YouTube when you have multiple animals. What I've always done, whether in the salon or out of the salon, is to share my favorite products. That's always been my thing. And when I was in the salon coloring, I bought so many different color lines because there isn't one line that does everything perfectly. So I'm showing you several things from the same line. And there's a lot of things that I like, but what I will tell you is there are specific things that I really like, that I really recommend, that I think you'll have a better experience with, and you don't need to buy everything. So anyway, please feel free to contact me because I would love to tell you the specifics for your hair and chat with you a little bit over email or text or what have you. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoy this video, and also let me know some other things that you need to know about your hair. Thanks so much. Stay healthy and beautiful. And sorry that my cats are just absolute troublemakers in the background. Whenever I come on here, there is no stopping them.